Hello and welcome back to what I wished I'd known about self-publishing before I got started. I am Karlie with Dragon Key Press, and today we are talking about reviews and how important these fun little suckers are, even if they are annoying as I'll get out sometimes. Okay, if possible, you should probably work on getting reviews before you actually get your book published. Not only will this help you boost your sales because, hey, credibility, it's also going to give you more visibility, and it's going to give you more legitimacy because, hey, especially if it's a professional review, somebody big and famous with some name and title behind their whatever is like, hey, we like this book, it's great, it's wonderful. It gives you a certain sort of prestige in the eyes of the common people, as it were. This can also help you when it comes to winning awards, and winning awards can actually help give you some good reviews too, because they usually give you some kind of feedback. But overall, it is a great marketing tool, especially if you can get those reviews in the first couple of months, because that will build visibility. It will help the algorithms that are used all over the place and all that, and it will just make life so beautiful. And I'm sorry if you can hear my computer freaking out in the background because it's having issues. But professionals apparently recommend you get 20 reviews in the first 2 months because, hey, it helps build the algorithms for searches as well as drive your sales. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean they have to all be 5 stars or even 4 stars because, honestly, let's face it, there's no way you're going to get all 5 stars, all 4 stars, or all 4 and 5 stars. And even if you do, people aren't going to believe that because no book gets just 4 and 5 stars. There's always going to be at least 1 or 2 1s or 2s and crap ton of 3s. And it's just going to depend on who's reviewing them, where they're being reviewed, and in some regards, whether or not you're being reviewed by a troll. But even bad reviews can be good reviews, especially if they reveal why the person did not enjoy your book, because just because they didn't like it doesn't mean somebody else won't like it. And if you look at all of those big name books that have been there forever, even Lord of the Rings, they have negative reviews too. So don't take that as always has to be positive review things. Now, for a lot of us who are self-publishing, we're probably going to have our books on Amazon. And I've pulled up this website called Scrib Media. It kind of has a lot of fun information. It's not hugely in-depth about all of the things that you will need to know about book reviews. But the biggest thing to know is book reviews do matter. And it's great and wonderful they can be good book reviews, but remember, even a bad quote-unquote review can be a good review depending on what kind of review it is. If it gets good information and a good reason why that person doesn't like it, it's not necessarily a bad one. But if it just bashes or points out flaws and stuff, yeah, that tells you you need to either get somebody else to review it or you need to work on your manuscript a bit more. But this will give you credibility and social proof that, hey, you actually are a legit author. Life is not just, hey, I wrote a book, everybody should read it. And no, we do not mean you should go out and have your mom or your friends review it and call that good. Because that's not what most people look for when they're looking for those big time reviews to actually sell your work. They don't care that Joe Blow down the street or the dog down across the corner liked your book, because for all they know, you paid for it. Speaking of that kind of thing, Amazon has this fantastic little thing where if they don't think your reviews are legit, they will kill them. If you have the common reader, whatever, paid to do a review, and they make it knowledge that they have, and they'll find out one way or another, they will kill it. If they suspect that they are reviewing your book as a personal favor, quote unquote, they will kill the review. So, take that into account when you are looking for reviews. There is a time and a place for soliciting reviews, and it is not the common reader, and it is not your dorm mate. The types of reviews you actually can solicit for are going to be your editorial reviews, your professional reviews, like media-based, Kirkus Review, the industry professional stuff. So there are a lot of them that will actually give you free reviews on the professional industry side if you know where to look. Though places like Blue Ink will charge you something for the review. It just depends on what you're looking for. But the top industry reviewers are going to be your Publishers Weekly, any type of library, the School Library Journal, Kirkus Review, Booklist Review, Blue Ink Review, which is a library journal, or Forward Clearing Review, which is a magazine. Now, Kirkus Review is probably the most well-known of all of these, besides the School Library Journal and Publishers Weekly. And if you want to get in on their free stuff, you actually go onto their magazine for pre-publication, and just know that it's going to take a hot minute. They say, give it 12 weeks as a minimum. But if you want to do regulars and you pay for that rush job, expect it to take at least a month. You can also enter their prize awards for reviews and things like that. But there's a lot of great information on the internet about editorial reviews, professional industry type reviews, and why they are important. If you can find any of these, please do. This website is selfpublishing.com, and it actually will kind of go through on how to actually get an editorial review and why they are important, how to speed up the process. Fingers crossed, you're actually going to find somebody who's willing to do it for free, and that is awesome and amazing if you can. But sometimes for the professional, like Kirkus Reviews, you do have to occasionally shell out some money. I know people say that you shouldn't for anything like this, but these aren't considered reader reviews. These are considered editorial industry type reviews. But before you even go out and look at who you want to do editorial reviews, you want to actually see what kind of reviews the different people out there do, and make sure it fits with what you've written, because not everybody's going to review the genre that you do or the age group or whatever. So keep that in mind. This website called Book Review Directory actually will help you find different reviewers. It's a paid service, but they actually will kind of help put you where you need to be. There are plenty of others out there that you can look at as well. But things to remember is that editorial reviews are basically by professionals about the content of your book, and they're not your average reader. So, not mom, not roommate, not dorm mate, not neighbor down the street. And it's usually going to be someone familiar with the field or the genre in which you're writing. They will be considered experts in their field or critics. They can also be columnists for newspapers, magazines, etc. These are professional, remember that. Media reviews, kind of similar, are usually done by people in the media, newspapers, other media outlets, TV, radio, podcasts, newspapers, magazines, social media influencers, etc. And usually these are from mentions from them. You can actually solicit for reviews with them, but there's no guarantee they actually will do it. Some will do it for free. Some of them may want to charge you a fee, so keep a leery eye on that. There are some other online book-ish sites that you can go to look for reviews in the type. Some of those include Fresh Fiction, BookTrib, BookReporter.com, Nord Daily, and they're just places you can look to get decent reviews. So, why do you need to get all of these reviews? Like I said, you have to have something for people to go, oh hey, this is actually legit. It's not just somebody who threw up some random spew of words somewhere and decided they're going to use it to make money. This gives you that sense of legitimacy. It helps make you more searchable. And people seem to kind of like the idea that, oh, somebody who actually knows what they're talking about read this and gave it their personal endorsement. But there are other places that you can look for reviews as well. Places you may not necessarily think about, and, you know, you might be a little leery of because people are like, oh no, reader beware. There are places like Reader's Choice, Writer's Digest, Forward Indies, Indie Reader Discovery, Golden Kite Award, which is through the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. They have one actually for independent / self-publishers and one for professional, traditional published works, as well as a Benjamin Franklin Award. You can also look to state institution of letters or organizations. Texas has one called the Texas Institute of Letters, and they do a yearly contest where you usually wait till the end of the year to actually submit, and I've done that a few times. If they like you and you score high enough, you actually get inducted into the Institute of Letters, which is basically the equivalent of being in one of those awesome, cool Sigma Tau Delta things, if you know what Sigma Tau Delta is, English Honor Society type things, which is a really good thing to have under your belt, not only for your book, but also for you as an author. Now, when it comes to other aspects, you can also ask your network for reviews. And this is hopefully like-minded people in writing groups or people that you know who are kind of in a professional thing. You can write yourself a little, here's an example letter saying, hey, here's some stuff, here's my book, love to have you review it if possible, but, you know, whatever. And if you can get these kind of reviews before your book publishes, you can actually include them on your KDP or Kindle Direct Publishing thing, or Ingram Spark, because there is actually a spot for you to put those kinds of reviews. But this Scribe Media has a bunch of examples of things that you can do if you don't have an idea of how to actually solicit these kinds of reviews. Remember, these are professional ones, not just typical reader, but examples of requesting reviews at the top of your Twitter feed, add a book to your email signature. There's a lot of authors out there who actually will give a free book to anybody who joins their mailing list in the hopes that people will review, but they're not actually soliciting the review there. You can put your book in the header of your your Facebook, Twitter profiles, whatever, and hope that somebody will pick it up there. But just remember, if you're going with the organic, common reader type reviews, you cannot ask people to review because Amazon has a sneaky way of somehow finding out that you asked them to review, exchange reviews, whatever, and they will delete said reviews if it feels like it didn't come without all these strings attached, etc. But remember, negative reviews are not necessarily bad. They're going to be a fact of life. So you can ignore it, you can answer whoever reviewed it, and that can be that double-edged sword like this website says right here. You want to respond in a way that addresses the issue without coming off as offensive, but usually it's best not to. And yes, negative reviews hurt. They really do. I've had quite a few negative reviews that I just wanted to go and stab the reviewer over and over again in my mind, not in reality, because how dare they attack my precious little brainchild. Because let's face it, our manuscripts are our brainchildren, and they're little babies, and we want to nurture and protect them. But if you have that negative review, just remember, it's more about where they're coming from as a reader than it is about them attacking you as an author, or they have something that needs to be fixed with the manuscript. And if it is a trolling type review, you can get Amazon to review it And if it doesn't comply with their guidelines, they will axe it. But that's only if it's really not a legit one. Now, it has all the paid type of reviews at the bottom of this website that you can use to actually get reviews by paying money. Book giveaways through Goodreads is one of those things. I may have mentioned that in my Goodreads review, where you actually pay a service to have your book blasted to the outreaches of the interwebs and actually pay to have your book shipped via electronic or actual physical book to winners of these contests in the hopes and supposed agreement that they will review your book. They don't always do it, and honestly, it is quite pricey, so I'm not sure that I would go that particular route if you can help it. If you're going to go with a paid review, I suggest doing something more like Kirkus Reviews, School Library Journal, etc. But just remember, even bad reviews can be good reviews, because you want that nice mix, because there is no book ever on the face of the planet that is ever going to have just positive reviews. See, just this random book on Goodreads right here, it's got mixed reviews right there. And if you go and look at their ratings, it's got a mix of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. This just tells you that there's a wide range of people who have read it. They either liked it, they didn't like it, or they thought it was decent. And those kinds of reviews will actually help, whether you believe it or not. Now, I've heard that the best thing to do in regards to reviews is maybe the first week or two, look at the good ones, the ones you paid for, and put them where they're going to be most prominent. But as for reader reviews, if you are really curious, go ahead and skim through them, but otherwise ignore them. Otherwise, you're going to go crazy, especially if you're waiting for all the reviews. And you can ask for reviews through things like book tours and things like that, especially online book tours. They're a little less common at the moment, but people still do them. And they do ask that people sign up with the intent to review, which is not the same as soliciting in Amazon's rules. So keep that in mind. But again, you're stuck with whatever the reviewer says, because you're not paying them to give you a specific type of review, you're paying them to give an honest review. And honest reviews are honestly the best ones. But again, reviews, awesome tool to help sell your books, to give you legitimacy as an author, and hey, if they're great reviews, they're definitely going to boost your ego, which may or may not be a good thing, depending on who you are. But hey, reviews, important. I am Karlie with Dragon Key Press. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you next time.